And good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Late News, Fox News at Night. I'm Trace Gallagher in Los Angeles, and we begin with breaking news that is still unfolding at this hour. A suspect remains on the loose after multiple shots were fired at Michigan State University. Police are now confirming that 3 people are dead. We do not know whether these are students or faculty or a combination of both. I want to bring in criminal defense attorney and federal litigator Vikas Bajaj. And are you surprised at the way that this is being handled? Because you would think, Vic, that the students would get a little bit more direction on what to do, even if it's just a repeat notice to say, stay where you are. That's the end of it.
Well, I'm sure they're getting that repeat notice. As we heard from some of the students, it's shelter in place, but what else can they be told? Right now, the skies are busy. Technology is moving at full speed ahead, and it's all systems go. I don't know if this campus in Michigan has invested in the technology that allows one to triangulate the sound of gunshots and then use the forward-looking infrared services to locate the potential suspect or perpetrator. I bet they have, as most public schools in the union have done that. But it's all systems go, shelter in place. Don't answer the door unless you need to, and make sure you're in a safe place and communicate with those who love you and worried about you. It's all systems go with both federal, state, and the municipalities at this point in time, Trace.
And we do not know the motive clearly because we don't have a suspect, and maybe police do. I mean, you have a picture of him, so there's a very good chance right now that police have probably identified Vic, this person, from the pictures because they've got good technology. It's been 4 hours. There's a good chance that we don't know about it, but they have identified this person, and there are crews now at every place and family member that this person has.
Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt, I'd bet the farm that they've already identified this person through the intensive surveillance and the facial identification software that every campus in the union now has. They'll go to where this person frequents, loved ones, family members, friends, perhaps vehicles, through the license plate reader technology to see how he got on the campus, where he went in the past week. They're going to triangulate, and they're surely going to find the suspect.
I'll also point out, Tracy, my executive producer, if our Fox affiliate, we just saw the live shot pop up, if we can monitor that and find out what they're saying, that might be a good place for us to get some important information. It always is, Vic, one of those things where when you use the language of finding, and we've seen it a lot, when you find a shooter who is dead, the phrasing usually is the shooter has been neutralized. The shooter is down. That means there was police involvement. When we hear the shooter is dead, it sometimes indicates, and I don't want to get ahead of anything here, it sometimes indicates self-inflicted wounds. Are you reading anything into this?
Well, from my perspective, it would be very hard to believe that law enforcement would not be able to triangulate this suspect and locate him and confront him in the number of minutes and hours that have passed since the first shooting. I would be absolutely floored if it were possible that this was something where he was just out on the lam and just confronted or took his own life after many hours. Right. I would not be surprised if we hear very distinct details of a lengthy confrontation, perhaps a negotiation before the fatality occurred.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, that's kind of the thing, is it's a little bit of both worlds where you have police that are closing in. They know where the suspect is, and right as police are about to close in on the suspect takes their own life.
That's right.
We have seen that happen time and time again here. But I'm curious because police were all over campus, and I'm sure that they probably, as we said, identified this shooter at some point in time over the last 4 hours. As soon as they got that picture, usually when they put it out, they're asking for some help, but sometimes it's standard operating procedure. They put the picture out there just because of transparency, and they have the information to identify that by talking to former students, by going through identification process, and they have a pretty good idea of where that shooter may or may not be holed up.
That's correct. And the first place to start is the last shooting. We have different locations, as you astutely point out, so that's the last point of interest and this last location we've seen the suspect. From that point, knowing that it was not just one location or one cafeteria or one gathering area, there's movement that can then be used to predict where that suspect will then go or maintain himself at that point. Because after the first shooting, you bet your bottom dollar there's a lot of police presence.
Was he a faculty member? Was he a student? They said they didn't know at the point, and that's important.
Yes, absolutely. And what they say and reveal is probably markedly different than what they actually know. We just heard from the chief of police there that, they didn't know the identity. I'm hard pressed to believe that. Again, we talked about the triangulation. They identified the individual. He was found or confronted off campus, which means either he was on a vehicle or there was some facial recognition if he was on foot, which I'd highly doubt when you're escaping a shooting like this, or it was a location that he frequented. So we can't really put a lot of stock in what we're hearing as far as being gospel.